Today's march came about as over recent years we're seeing increasing cuts to school funding. Across the country we're seeing head teachers considering resigning so that their salary can cover the hole in their funding budget that year. I know of 3 schools just in Cambridge City that are closing half day a week early in order to save funds. We don't have enough teaching resources. There's not enough pens, glue. There's no resource to replace ICT equipment like for like. The funding crisis is reaching a point where we can't stand it anymore. So as parents, I ask you to support us in taking this campaign nationally. And I think at this point I'd like to hand over to Tony Davis, headmaster of St Matthew's Primary School.
Hello everybody. So am I allowed to resign? I thought I'd get that answer. This is really, really overwhelming, and to see all these faces is just amazing. And there was somebody out there, all these wonderful signs, somebody out there has got a sign that just said, I love my school. And I just think that's why we're here, because we all recognise how precious our schools and our children are. I could talk here for hours making all the rational arguments about why we need school funding and trying to prove that it has been cut when the government keeps telling us that it hasn't. Well, it has. And I kind of feel like we've won that rational argument. And actually now it's just the protest, and it's making people realise, making our politicians realise that they cannot keep feeding us that story. They cannot get away with not increasing school funding. And the only way to do that is to do wonderful things like this and to make sure our voices are heard. So a massive thank you to all the teachers, head teachers, parents and children who've come here, and a huge thank you to those people who've organised this today. Brilliant, wonderful.
My name's John Devine. I'm the County Secretary for the National Education Union in Cambridgeshire, the majority union in the England and Wales and in Cambridgeshire. Now, I think today's turnout has been far greater than I would have expected. It's been massive. I think we're now, what, over 1,000 people turned out today. That is something new. We need to keep this momentum going. We've got Easter coming up. But after Easter, we need to look at what else we can do to encourage other schools to follow St Matthew's example. We need massive support for a campaign to get more funding from the government. We know that there is money available. We could use it. We could use it for the schools, for education, for the structure of the schools. There's masses of cases when you look around Cambridgeshire of schools that are in need of repair, rebuilding. It's endless. And we need to have a mass campaign among the parents and among the schools and among the teachers and the employers of schools to get the message out that we need funding. The funding can only come from the government, and that's where we have to direct our anger. Thank you very much.
Stand up here. Yes. Hello, my name's Paula Champion. I'm a nursery teacher in Cambridge. I recognise many children here that have come through our nursery schools and are now in their primary schools. I wanted to draw your attention to the fact that our nursery schools at the moment are in grave danger of not existing at all. Actually, around the country, we are facing such a funding crisis that in a year's time, many of our nursery schools will be forced to actually close down. And that is absolutely shocking. A couple of weeks ago, we were out there, we go, there's Brunswick Nursery Schools. These are all our city nursery schools that we are fighting for. A couple of weeks ago we went to Parliament to protest about the funding crisis that we face, and we want to be here with you absolutely all the way fighting this government. I was shocked to read in the national papers yesterday that people are having to crowdfund and teachers take £7,000 worth of cuts to their salaries to fund our schools. This is the 5th richest economy in the world. It is a shocking way to fund and run our education system. So I agree with the last speaker. We have got to continue the fight. And as Tony said, we have to go forward, united in every possible way that we can, whether we have more protests, with our letter writing. And I tell you what, if there's a general election, I say bring it on. Let's put education right back at the top of the agenda.